Hi, everyone. I wanted to give you some guidance on the quiz questions this week. I know last week's was pretty tough for you guys, and I know that it didn't help as much with just chatting on Go Guardian. So I wanted to provide some guidance and assistance with the quiz questions. This may be more than one video, so I would highly suggest that you watch them all as you're going along with me. Maybe keep this tab open as well as the tab with this video. Now, hopefully by now you have read all the Google slides that Mrs. Magalong left for you and Mrs. Donio left for you. Hopefully you also made sure to read over the actual text. You annotated it and it looks nice and colorful compared to my version, obviously, which I did not annotate just yet. But it is important to note that as you are looking at this text, this is from the very beginning of the Hunger Games. And if you've seen the movie, which I'm sure many of you have, keep in mind it's not exactly the same as the movie, but it's pretty darn close. So as I'm going over these questions, you can keep that in mind just as much as the actual text itself. Now, with these questions, it's very important that you really understand the question, and if you need to go back into the text. So for question number 1, it says, which of the following reasons best explains why the Capitol holds the reaping and the Hunger Games every year. So remember, the reaping is actually when they pick the two volunteers, or not the two volunteers, the two tributes, and then the Hunger Games is actually where all of the tributes fight against each other. So is it that it's A, it's a way for the Capitol to show off its power? B, it helps the Capitol to keep track of the population in each of the districts? C, both A and B, or D, neither A nor B. Now, if you remember, we also read the lottery this year, and I feel as if the lottery is very similar in this case. Think about, what were they really doing? What were some of the reasons why they held that lottery? Was it just certain people in the district that were putting their names in, or was it everyone? Who could be in the actual Hunger Games? Think about that as well. But if you keep reading and if you remember, there's definitely some parts, especially if you go into number 7, paragraph 7, people file in silently and sign in. The reaping is a good opportunity for the Capitol to keep tabs on the population as well. 12 through 18-year-olds are herded into roped areas marked off by ages, the oldest in the front, the young ones like Prim toward the back. Family members line up around the perimeter, holding tightly to one another's hands. But there are others, too, who have no one they love at stake, or who no longer care, who slip among the crowd, taking bets on the 2 kids whose names will be drawn. Odds are given on their ages, whether they're seam or merchant, if they will break down and weep. Most refuse dealing with the racketeers, but carefully. These same people tend to be informers, and who hasn't broken the law? I could be shot on a daily basis for hunting, but the appetites of those in charge protect me. Not everyone can claim the same. So definitely one of those is there, but it's important to realize too, here's a little bit more about what the description of the Hunger Games. Just as the town clock strikes 2, the mayor steps up to the podium and begins to read. It's the same story every year. He tells of the history of Panem, the country that rose up out of the ashes of a place that was once called North America. He lists the disasters, the droughts, the storms, the fires, the encroaching seas that swallowed up so much of the land, the brutal war for what little sustenance remained. The result was Panem, a shining capital ringed by 13 districts, which brought peace and prosperity to its citizens. Then came the dark days, the uprising of the districts against the capital. 12 were defeated, the 13th obliterated. The Treaty of Treason gave us the new laws to guarantee peace, and, as our yearly reminder that the dark days must never be repeated, it gave us the Hunger Games. The rules of the Hunger Games are simple. In punishment for the uprising, each of the 12 districts must provide 1 girl and 1 boy called tributes to participate. The 24 tributes will be imprisoned in a vast outdoor arena that could hold anything from a burning desert to a frozen wasteland. Over a period of several weeks, the competitors must fight to the death. The last tribute standing wins. Taking the kids from our districts, forcing them to kill one another while we watch, this is the Capitol's way of reminding us how totally we are at their mercy, how little chance we would stand of surviving another rebellion.